Utility Arena in Newcastle. Judgment night is what it'll be. It'll be against, obviously, Troy Williamson, the champion, super welterweight, that British title. Coming up against Josh Kelly, another talented North East fighter. It'll all be live and free on Channel 5 from Friday. And before, obviously, we get the main event kicked off after this, we've got a plethora of talented fighters, obviously, in front of us, ready to advertise themselves in the right way in front of a huge Newcastle audience, as well as a huge viewing audience as well. But to kick things off, I think we go over to our promoter, Calla Sauerland. It's only right that he briefs us on how much of a big night this is going to be.
Good afternoon, Newcastle. Nice cold welcome coming off the train this morning. So a banging show, it's a big show. It's a huge North East takeover. Got to say, before we go into boxing, some of the outfits up here today, I thought Junior took the week with his KFC outfit yesterday, but there's a couple up here. I'd like Joe to tell me later on what big knob actually means in a Versace bathrobe, but I'll go to one-on-one with him on that one. No, fantastic card, great card. Full credit to my brother for putting the card together. We've got obviously a super main event, but I think the co-feature, Lyndon, obviously back on Channel 5, tough fight with Joel, and we're looking, to build people up for future Channel 5 events. We saw how well this platform does. Last Friday night, Harlem Eubank, in his first ever main event on Channel 5, smashed the whole boxing, and it was a big boxing weekend, to absolute smithereens. In fact, I would call it a first round, first minute knockout, with 1.88 million viewers on terrestrial television. So that shows you the sort of platform the guys and girls with us are aspiring to get to put it into perspective. Look at Harlem's year. He started off last year with us, boxing on the undercard in Latvia when we were promoting Myris Bridis in a world title fight. Came through the card, went to co-feature, now headline, 1.88 million viewers, So lots to aspire to. So I hope, and I'm sure, everyone will put on performances. There's a couple of real great matchups. Joe, I'll let you go into detail on that in a minute. But it's great to be in this special fight city, and be talking more about the main event in a minute.
And as Calla said, obviously, super talented undercard. So we'll start there from the bottom with, obviously, Adam Reichard, your boxing debut, my friend. Just describe what the Northeast rather means to you, and to have your first fight there.
Yeah, well, I think everyone up here will agree that to be from the Northeast, super proud to be from the Northeast, and to be on such a big card, which is probably the biggest card the Northeast seen for a long while, especially the biggest Northeast derby, and to be making my debut, it's unreal, isn't it? I mean, it's what people dream of when they turn over professional, especially to be in the arena in Newcastle.
And obviously, as we mentioned, mate, be obviously debut in your first fight. People might not have seen too much of you. How would you sell yourself to that audience? What kind of fighter are you?
Well, I like to think I can do a bit of both, bit of everything, but come forward, back foot. But I mean, on Friday night, I'm definitely going to be coming out and taking centre of the ring, and definitely be pushing the pace and looking for that stoppage. But if it doesn't come, it doesn't come, and I was trying to entertain the fans at the end of the day, and that's what I'm here to do.
Adam, thank you there. Travis, next to him. Again, another local talent making his debut, obviously at home in the Northeast. There seems to be more and more talent coming out of the area in recent years. What's it been like for you to be a part of that?
I feel like it's a massive privilege. Obviously, the big shows are starting to come up in the Northeast now, because obviously a lot of the top amateurs have actually turned pro now, signed up some big promoters. And obviously the big promoters is bringing the shows up into the Northeast, so it's giving people like myself and the other lads opportunities. So I'm thankful for that.
And sort of to reflect the same question that was asked of Adam, again, pro debut, there might not be that many people that have had the opportunity to see you just yet. What's going to be that key component to your game that gets the fans excited and off the seats?
Well, I like to try and push the pace a lot during my fights, and I like to think I'm a busy fighter. I like to think I'm a box fighter, so I'm excited to watch, and hopefully on Friday night I can show that and people to believe that.
Thank you. And we move across to the bottom right to Bobby Dalton. Bobby, 2 fights, 2 wins so far. You're yet to drop a round in your young career. How pleased are you with how things have started out for you?
Yeah, I'm happy with my performances and looking forward to putting another big performance on Friday night, mate.
And obviously you're a super welterweight, just like the main event. I know you perhaps side with one side more than the other as a stablemate in Troy. How much of an inspiration, I guess, is he for you? You know, working alongside him and seeing what he does in the gym. You know, just explain a little bit of working alongside that.
Massive inspiration there, just seeing what he does in and outside the ring. It's brought my game on tenfold, so just being a sponge really and enjoying the ride.
And what's your prediction for your own fight on Friday?
Just a win. If the knockout comes, it comes, but a win.
Thanks, Bobby. And just to his right there, Ewan McKenzie. Macca, you're gaining a reputation as a bit of a finisher recently, with 5 wins, but them last 3 fights all being stoppages or retiring your opponent. How do you see this fight going? More of the same?
Yeah, definitely more of the same. I'm going to bring it like I always do. I'm never in a boring fight, so I'm going to make sure that I put it all over him, get that stoppage again, keep the ball rolling.
And this will be fight number 6, and it'll be fight number 6 in the northeast as well. You know, you're sticking on home turf. What is it about this area that is such a big secret weapon for you?
Yeah, it's like the northeast lads all back the one, you know what I mean? So when a show like this gets put on, everyone's there, you know, it's all the faces you see, all your pals, you know, and everyone just always gets together and has a good night.
And just left inside there is Jordan Baker Porter, almost. And, you know, you're the female contingent for this one. You're flying the flag for us today. This will be your 4th fight within 2022, so a really active year for you. You know, a TKO last time. Are you approaching it in similar fashion, or how would you like to see this one go?
Absolutely. It is actually Barker Porter as well, not Baker. But and this is going to be my 5th fight this year. I said I wanted to be active. I set myself a target to have 4. This is my 5th. And I said last fight I was going to bring the spice. This fight I'm going to bring the spice and the sauce. And I plan on lighting her up like a Christmas tree on Friday night.
Very festive. You're becoming a beacon for the northeast female fighters. You know, do you take that as a privilege, or is that a heavy burden to carry? Sorry.
No, not at all. Look, there is some good girls in the northeast, and I'm just in the mix now, and getting the spots that I feel I deserve. So yeah, coming on through for the girls.
And let's say you get through fight night as planned. What do you see as next for you?
Titles next year, 100%. I want a European, a Commonwealth. We'll get something because obviously there's Northern title there's no one in the area, so I can't fight for that. You can't get a British title as a female because there's not enough females in the category. So the next best thing for us is European or Commonwealth. So I'm coming for something.
And that will start on Friday, of course. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Ben Marksby just to the left there. Ben, undefeated, super lightweight, 5-0. You know, you're fighting a very hungry fighter with the opportunity to come here in your home turf and sort of take the night away from you. What have you done in your preparations to make sure, you know, this night's all about you?
Well, I've just trained really, really hard, like every other camp. I'm just looking to perform on Friday. I know I can.
And I guess it's a similar sort of stage you're at as Jordan when we spoke before. You know, you're progressing nicely now and you're getting them big wins and you're climbing the ladder. Let's say you get through Friday night. You know, where do you see the next 12 months panning out for you? What's going to be the aim?
I think the aim for the next 12 months is I'd like an English title in the next 12 months. I know I could win one, so just speak to my manager Steve and hopefully he can push that for me.
And I mean, it's always hard to just throw a name out there, but is there anyone that you'd like next in a domestic level, should you win on Friday?
There's no one in particular, really. I'd fight anybody domestically, so just whoever they put in front of me.
Thank you very much. And Joe, yeah, I'm equally as not sure if interested or concerned in what it says on the back of your shirt there, but again, that'll be one for another time. Things didn't exactly go to plan last time out in the last fight. You know, it was only his second loss. You're a young man still just coming into his prime. Sometimes these things can be a blessing in disguise. You know, how do you feel it has been a big blessing and a big learning curve for you?
Hello. Yep, it's working. I took the last one as I learned. I didn't class it as a loss. I've came back. My spirits are still higher than ever. I was back in the gym post-operation. I'm beating PBs and I just can't win the fight again, mate. I just can't wait. I was put on this plan to entertain. I was put on this plan to fight. And it's good to see the undercard. Like, I've literally shared a ring from the amateurs and pros with everybody on the bottom table. And it's good to see come through one of the biggest cards the North East has to offer. And like I say, we're all friends. We're all boxing pals. And it's good to see. Friday night it's going to be electric.
And you said yourself there, obviously you're hitting PBs and everything's sort of been developing. Have you changed anything since that last fight to, you know, make this sort of a statement win and you kick on here?
Yeah, I have. I've just been training hard, and I got this fight short notice, but I'm ready when I'm not ready. I am always ready to throw hands, and Friday night I'm throwing hands. Win, lose, draw, knockout. I knock out, them knock me out. I'm throwing hands. I am throwing my hands Friday night, and that's that.
Thank you very much for that, Joe. We've got
Hence the word big knob, I guess. You know, big balls, you know. Like it.
We go to the end of the top table for Matty Harris just down there, you know, tipped as a future star of the heavyweight division. He returns to the scene of the crime, I guess, where he had that highlight reel knockout against Metis at the very same arena. Matty, it's very hard not to ask the question, but are we expecting another explosive finish? How do you see Fight Night going?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Every time I go in there, I'm going in there to try and knock people out. That's what people want to see. That's what brings the crowds in. That's what sells tickets. So, yeah, I'll be going in there to try and get another explosive finish.
And just talk to me a little bit about your focus, obviously, when you're training as well. It's not to say you lack focus, but is it hard to hone in on them skills when you know that actually you've always got the trigger ready to pull, and that can be the thing that gets you out of any situation in a fight?
Absolutely not. I want to be known as a boxer first. The punch power is just something that I can fall back on if I need to. Something that kind of puts a full stop at the end of a performance, really. But yeah, now I'm always in the gym, working on my skills with my coach, Edwin. So yeah, ready to keep the journey going.
And do you know much about Yuri Surmaj, your opponent? Is it very much training revolves around what he could bring, or is it more about improving yourself in the best Matty Harris beats anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. I really don't care what he brings to the ring. I'm going, I spent the last, 6 months working on bits for me. As I said, I'm not looking at this guy, I'm looking through him. Obviously, I know I've got a job to do on Friday night, sorry.
And finally, obviously, Friday night, how do you feel about being back in Newcastle? Obviously, you've had some great moments, as we mentioned, as we introduced you. What do you think about the card, and what do you think about fighting here in the North East?
I'm excited to be back. Obviously, I got very good memories the last time I was here. Got that highlight reel knockout, so yeah, I'm looking to bang another one of them out.
Thanks, Matty.
Always,
we move on to heavyweights again, and we've sort of created a little saga here after the first fight being a draw between two very big men and very big hitting heavyweights. It's the rematch between Hosea Stewart down at the bottom there and Franklin Ignatius next to me. As we say, they couldn't be split. You know, now they've got 6 rounds to settle the score. Calla, I want to come to you first, if that's okay. What did you think about the last fight, and are you hoping that we get a winner this time around?
I'll just say a couple of words first on Magical Matty, and then on the other heavyweight fight. I think Matty's come through the year very strongly. He's one of the, it's an exciting thing, the heavyweights, especially the British domestic heavyweights, and I think by the end of next year we'll be in a position to really challenge those bigger names. He's had a couple of show reel knockouts, but also some very strong performances, activity. And yeah, I mean the all heavyweight one, Jose looks in very good nick. Franklin looks very smart as well today. Look, it was a fight that had the fans standing last time. I believe our head of social media caught the mouth guard from one punch even. So we saw fists flying, we saw punches landing at heavyweight. It's going to be interesting over 6 rounds. It's tactically a very big difference to a 4-round fight at heavyweight. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, the first fight was real good fun. They're both early in their careers, learning, and you know, it was a learning fight, I think, for both. So we'll see who took the better lesson out of it, and I'm very excited to watch it.
So Franklin, I'll start with you. She sat right next to me there. A draw last time then. Talk me through how you feel the fight went, and you know, how do you feel about the decision?
Well, first of all, thank you to Kel and Nisse for having me on and giving me the opportunity. I appreciate it. The fight the first time round, you know, it was literally, like I said, it was an opportunity that got offered to me. I took it with both hands. And with the fight itself, you know, I thought I'd done enough to win, but at the same time, I can also see why I was given a draw, so I'm not complaining about it. It was definitely a lesson, you know. I went back, I didn't really take any time off. I went right back to the gym and applied those lessons, you know, to learn from it. I think I brought me on as a fighter because the opportunity was the first time I was in that type of situation. And as a result of it, you know, I came back a much improved fighter. And then, you know, since then, I think I've just come on. I've had a lot of sparring, a lot of developing. I was also given an opportunity to spar Hergovic. You know, he has complimentary things to say about me, and I learned a lot from that experience. And I've come back, you know, more than ready for the challenge. And I'm very grateful to 6-rounder. I feel like that is a fight and a format that would suit me and suits my skill set. And I think, yeah, I'm very confident about this Friday, and I'm looking forward to it.
And Jose, I want to throw a very similar question back to you. You know, last time out, how did you feel the fight went? You know, what did you learn, and what did you think of the decision ultimately?
There's many things I took from it. Like, you know, I learned from it. I understand that I just got to stick to my boxing, do what I do best, not get drawn into the theatrics of anything else. You know, I hope he's put in the work, because we've been in the gym daily, regardless of injuries and whatnot. And yeah, I'm more than confident. Likewise, I've got the great sparring in. Just been building my experience, and I'm ready to come Friday night and put in a performance.
And Franklin, obviously you shared the ring last time. It's going to be a longer format this time. Was there anything that surprised you when you fought Jose last time, or did you see any weaknesses that you think you could exploit this time around?
Listen, I'm just happy the fight went the way it went, because that gave me an opportunity to correct it the second time around. There's literally, as far as anything he's done, I mean, he looks the same to me, so it's an opportunity for me to just display my improvements. And I just wish it happened earlier, because I would have done it earlier and had a better job doing it earlier, but it ain't no difference to me whether it happens now or later. I'm more than ready for Friday.
And what's going to give you the edge this time around?
I had the edge the first time round. So there's nothing more to say. I had the edge the first time round. It's just about making it more conclusive and actually showing my own development this time, but no difference.
Jose, do you agree with that? Do you think he did have the edge first time round? And what are you going to do again this time round to make sure you get that win?
If he had the edge first time round, we wouldn't be here, for starters. You know, the jab was fixing him in, but we'll talk about that after Friday. And you know, like I say, I ain't here to do talking. The talking's long. Friday night, I'm going to put hands on, and I'm going to show what I've been doing. So that's
this mystery injury brought up. I still never saw no evidence about it. I never saw nothing. You know, we would have had this fight earlier. We've been calling for it earlier. This mystery injury you brought up, I didn't see anything. But like I said, we're having a fight. It's Friday already, so there's no point talking too much.
Man, talking done. Talk done. Friday, it's here, innit? You got the fight. I wanted the fight. That's that. Nothing more needs to be said, innit? I'll see you Friday night.
I'll just ask for one more from each of you then. Franklin first. Prediction, how's this fight go?
Stoppage.
Any round?
No, not particularly. Whichever, I don't matter.
Okay, Jose, yourself?
It's going to set pace on him, regardless how it goes. It might be a 6-round beatdown, or he might go crumbling in one of the rounds. We'll see.
Thank you very much. Calla, I'm going to come back to you for a huge light heavyweight fight. Lyndon Arthur, King Lyndon Arthur, a fitting setting really. It's quite a regal place we sit in today. He's fighting Joel McIntyre, someone with a good pedigree and a good ability to push every fight that he has, a good finishing record. What do you think of this one?
I've always got used to every time I hear the words King Arthur, because most might know or not know, we promoted Arthur Abraham from his first pro fight through his 3 world title fights. So when I hear King Abraham or King Arthur Abraham and now King Lyndon Arthur, it's good to keep that family tradition going. No, we're delighted to sign Lyndon earlier this year. Super exciting weight class. Tough opponent in Joel. It's exactly what Lyndon wants. He's got a great setup in Manchester, and he's teeing out everything up for a big 2023. But can't look past Joel. It's a big fight. Again, I'm going to talk about those eyeballs. I'm a promoter, so they've got the platform to do it on. Super exciting domestic fights to be made next year, but again, that's for sign afterwards. For us, this Friday night, it's a tough fight, and bring it on.
And Joel, I'll start with yourself if that's okay. You've got more rounds in the bank than Lyndon. More of that ring time. Lyndon's obviously a tremendous athlete and a great boxer, but how are you going to use that experience to edge this one?
For me, the experience has come from in the time in the gym and the years in the pro game. I had a very short amateur career. It was like 12 fights, 11 wins, 1 loss. I didn't do the pedigree, I didn't do the GB, I didn't do the travelling all over the world, fighting, over and over again, consecutive days. So I had to learn going straight in at the TKO gym, in the old TKO in the East End. And so I had to learn there. So I learned in the game. So the experience has come over the rounds. Like you say, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use everything that I've done in the multiple round sparring with top lads. I could name drop, but it's just not my style. But yeah, over and over again, loads and loads of rounds, loads and loads of sparring. And I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use what I have naturally, which is heart and just the will to fight.
And you're known as El Toro, or the Bull, if anyone didn't know what that meant. And is this an insight in how you're going to approach this fight? Obviously, you mentioned your heart, you've got plenty of experience, but you're going to be looking, not to give too much away, is it going to be a fast, aggressive start? You're going to look to drag him into some deep waters where your heart can shine?
El Toro's, the bull. The bulls run straight forward. They run straight forward without a great deal of thought. They just run red. Well, I don't do that. I like to react. So I'm going to react to exactly what is in front of me. We do have tactics and we do have a plan. But everyone has a plan, as Mike Tyson said, until they get punched in the face. So we're just going to have to react and do what we've got to do. So that's my game plan. And there it is in front of you. It's a reaction game. I like to counter punch. I like to come forward. I don't like to take a backward step. But if I do get put on the back foot, someone's going to walk onto something.
And I guess again, how do you see this fight going? You must have closed your eyes thinking about this as you prepare for it each night and day. And is there a certain way you see this going for you?
Yeah, I do. I see myself winning this. I don't see myself letting it go to the judges because I don't trust the judges to do me right. I'm not talking about robberies. I'm just talking about, why let another guy sort of tell you whether you want to fight or not when you can sort of put it beyond doubt yourself. That's not me being sort of big mouth and big this, big that, because that's not my style again. But I don't want it to go to the judges. I want to take care of the fight and I want to move forward. I really appreciate the opportunity to come here. This is what I've been, all the rounds in the gym, like I said before, and all the rounds in the ring that I've done. this is what it's for. This is my first proper big press conference like this. After so many years in the game, you wouldn't believe it, but it's true. And this is what I've always wanted. So for me to let it slip now, it would be very irresponsible of myself. But I thank Wasserman and they've treated us well, but I think they've made a big mistake bringing me in.
In Lyndon, he says, this could be a mistake, and he's the bull. He's going to be charging for it. If the bull comes charging and is looking for a firefight on Friday night, what is the outcome in your eyes? How do you see that going?
He has to say that, because why else would he be here if he didn't believe that he could beat me or that I believe he could tame me, kind of thing. So it's in my power to be able to do that and be able to tame him as the bull he thinks he is. So I'm excited for it. I'm trained well. He's a good, tough fighter. I've looked at him. I think he's won his last 2 fights by knockout. I think he's 2-time English champion. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, he's a tough opponent, and I'm happy to be in this fight.
And you say there, obviously, he has to say these sort of things. It's his big night. He admitted that himself, being on a big show. Do you think that your level's above in comparison? Do you think, not necessarily this will be an easy night's work, but is he someone that you would have faced before in your career?
It's just that if I can't beat him, then I'm set back more than I thought I was, and I believe I can. I believe I'm better. I believe everything I do is better than what he does. No disrespect, but I just do. And again, if I didn't believe that, I shouldn't be here myself. So again, I'm just excited for Friday, and only time will tell what's going to happen.
And you bullied Walter Sakira last time out in your last fight.
He was tough. He was tough, him, though.
And you said that yourself, it was a case of cobwebs coming off as well, and you say a tough man that you put away. Is this now going to be the peak Lyndon Arthur that we see? Is this going to be the beginning of the rise of your return to the top?
Yeah,
renaissance for the
I definitely wasn't as sharp as I thought I would be in my last fight, but I'm a lot sharper now in the gym, and like you say, shake the cobwebs off kind of thing, and I'll definitely be a better version of myself than I was last fight out.
And Joel's mentioned his heart, and there is an ability to drag this into places that you may or may not want it to go. Have you got a certain plan for this fight? I appreciate you can't give too much away.
Well, it's like you said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So I prepare to punch him in the mouth on Friday a lot of times. So we'll see what happens.
And again, the old cliche of not being able to look past anyone with respect to Joel. Say you come through this on Friday night, where do you want the next few fights to see you go? Is it huge domestic names that you can mention, or are you looking at bigger and better steps on world honours?
It's like Carla says, there's a lot of huge domestic fights in this division. This division at the moment's like absolutely popping, and I'm excited to be in it. I'm excited to be a part of the light heavyweight division in Britain, and the world stage is amazing as well. So I'm just looking forward to the future.
Are you able to provide any names of who you'd like?
I don't mind anyone.
Lots of names. Don't worry about that.
And
I'll put a closing comment in here from me. Just a lot of people say, what's the perks of your job? And I've got to say, what Joel just said there, that it's his first time up here on a press conference like this. All the guys and girls on the undercard to put on a platform for what they do in a gym. That's the perk of my job. And that what you just said, that was a very, for me, a touching moment. It was very, very special when you said it. Sorry, you're still going to get beat on Friday night. My man's going to take you out, but El Toro will come. But that was very, very nice words, my friend. Very, very nice words.
Working with you again in the
and
future.
I'll give you another chance. Don't worry.
I look forward to working with you again in the future.
That was a very nice thing you said. On to just finally on Lyndon. We didn't sign him to make him British champion, so I respect what you're saying on the domestic fights. But this man is world level. Yeah, he's world level. He's not domestic level. And I know there's lots of good domestic fighters, and there's interesting domestic fights to be made. But we didn't sign him to make him British champion or Commonwealth champion or even European champion. This man here is not going to be. He's going to be the next King Arthur in our stable, and there's big shoes to fill. But we really believe in him, and Pat and the whole setup he's got. But he's got to get past El Toro first. And the reaction is, by the way, the bull as well reacts to the red. what is it, red flag or whatever it is, yeah.
Napkin.
Napkin, yeah, there we go. But you got to watch, but you sometimes have to watch what's behind the red napkin.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Ladies and gents.
I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting co-feature.
And that concludes the undercard. Just to remind everyone, there are limited tickets still available via wassermanboxing.com. The doors will be opening at 5:30 and the first bout will be scheduled for 20 to 6 on Friday night. The undercard action can be viewed on Boxing Social's YouTube account, so be sure to check in there. And we go live on Channel 5 from 9 p.m. and the main card will follow up shortly. So thank you very much.